Okay, problem 19 gives you a sphere with a circumference of 60 and asks for its surface area. Now, spheres are different than pyramids or rectangular solids. Rectangular solids, you can easily reason out how to find the volume, and you don't need to remember a formula, and then you just got to remember the 1/3 for a pyramid, and you can easily find that volume. So that's something you can reason out from very basic principles. On the other hand, a sphere, you can't reason out why the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed or why the surface area is 4 pi r squared. That's beyond what you can be expected to do. You just can't reasonably be expected to be able to do that. Okay, so the question is, what's the surface area, though, of this sphere if its circumference is 60? Now, there's still some work to do here. We know that the surface area of a sphere is 4 times the area of a circle that goes through the center. That is, if we constructed a circle, a great circle, not a terminology that you need to know, but not a bad terminology to know, whose center is the same as the center of the circle, of the sphere, then the radius of that circle would be the same as the radius of the sphere. Okay? And the area of that circle would be pi r squared. And then the area of the sphere surface area is 4 times pi r squared. So, surface area is 4 times the area of that circle, which is 4 times pi r squared. Okay, so if we can find r, we can find the surface area. Now again, this is a formula I would give you, although hopefully you'll remember this connection. Looking at that formula, knowing you have to find the surface area, you would then understand that, well, 4 and pi are just numbers that I can easily calculate with. We know what those numbers are, but we don't know what r is. How do you find r? Well, the circumference is 60. If the circumference here is 60, then what's the radius? Well, circumference is pi multiplied by the diameter. Remember the meaning of pi. And that's pi times 2r, because the diameter is 2r. So 2 pi r is 60. Okay, the circumference is 2 pi r. Now pi times 2r could be written 2 pi r. And now we can solve that for r. We just divide 60 by 2 pi, and which is the same as dividing 30 by pi, so, but I don't care whether you divide the 60 by 2 pi or reduce it down to 30 over pi. So you can easily use your calculator to find r. And then the surface area is 4 pi r squared. That's 4 pi times the square of 30 over pi, a number that you might well have already calculated, so you can just take 4 times pi times the square of that number. Now, doing the algebra, that becomes 4 pi times 30 squared is 900, pi squared is pi squared, so we get 4 pi times 900 over pi squared, and 4 times 900 is 3600. Pi divided by pi squared is reciprocal pi, pi in the denominator. Again, you don't necessarily have to write out all these algebraic steps, but it's good to know how to do it, and it would be good for you to actually do that on the test, but it's not required. If you just calculate the r here and plug into the formula and show me how you did that, you don't have to do all this, but if you know how, it's good to show me. Give you a better chance at partial credit if you mess something up. Okay. Anyhow, we do all this simplification. We do the simplification. I estimate it's around 1160, but I could be off plus or minus 20. I could be off by a lot more than that if I'm not thinking right. Okay. So you can take your calculator and check me on that. Okay. Again, now, We know the circumference of this circle here, so we can find its radius. Okay, we find its radius, and then we know that the surface area is 4 pi times the square of the radius. We can find the surface area.